Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a metaphor for a person who has one personality and acts a certain way in an area of life, but acts completely different in a different area of life. And you might find yourself, there's places where you act differently, depends on where you're at or who you're around. Perhaps your Friday night, date night personality is different from the personality that you happens or you are when you're around your coworkers. Or perhaps when you are your authentic self with your true friends is very different from the way you regress behaving as a young child when you get around your family. Behaving one way dramatically different from another can cause a lot of stunted growth, confusion, and frustration. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. When you're struggling to live as your authentic self all the time, it's because there's personalities within you that aren't aware of each other. They haven't met yet. They don't even know about each other. It's called mental compartmentalization, and it comes from trauma. Watch my full video where you'll get to meet Michelle, who finally releases a deep childhood wound that she's been keeping around and it's been keeping her stuck for decades. All right, well, let's begin.
Okay.
So, the last time we spoke about meeting, had to do the big picture is we were in a session having a conversation about you're telling me things about your mom, where your mom's at, her health is failing, she's getting closer to the end. And some people, when they do that, your words, like losing your marbles, right? And that just can happen from a lot of different reasons. Like it could be just like the body's breaking down. It could be just simple dehydration, not taking care of the person's like self with nutrients. It's something that older people don't do a good job of stereotypically, or generally is drink enough water, get enough electrolytes, and nobody's brain works that well. But if somebody does lose their marbles or is like not as quite sharp as they were, they could go one of two ways. They can get meaner or they can get nicer, generally speaking.
Mhm.
And I've seen both happen. And so for you with your mom, she like one of the things you were saying is that she's whatever she lost, she didn't lose her stick to be able to poke the bear. Or what do you say?
I always say she likes to poke the stick.
Poke the stick.
And
Yeah.
she, of all the things she's forgetting, she hasn't forgotten how to do that. She still does that really well.
Yeah.
It's a pattern for sure.
And I calibrated when you talk about it because I always listen when I talk to people. And what people don't always realize, because it's unconscious, is that when like people, when you talk about your family, you talk to me how you talk to them. So like the tonality shifts a little bit, like
Mhm.
the locus shifts, the location on like age you are and resources sometimes shift.
Yeah.
And so what I was bringing up would be, wouldn't that be interesting if what I normally, because you're your authentic self when you're around me, and you're always been becoming more and more of that, like speaking from your heart, living from your heart. And what I said would be interesting is if the the part of you that speaks to me and the part of you that speaks to your mom, if we're all in the same room at the same time, what would that be like? And I think it said something like your eyeballs would do weird things and would not compute. And you said you're right, and that's is a theme that's coming up that I'm seeing with people, clients, and people in my life that they're one way with family, and there might be a different way at work and a different way at like at home or a different way with friends. And where is the authenticity? Where is the real self? Where's the just being instead of trying? And how do like programs, I don't want to say interfere, but like dictate how people respond, and where's their control? Like if we have programs that are younger and they get activated, like then that actually is like perpendicular to our true selves. So
Yeah.
for today, the biggest thing was to be to like to really bring up both parts, the part of you that and we can use your words, but I'll just start with these words, the authentic you and then the daughter you. I
Yeah.
don't know if those are exactly the words that you want to use, but we're going to bring both those two personalities into the same room. And because that's never happened before. Generally, when this happens for people, well, 100% of the time it happens where it's called sequential, or they're compartmentalized. They're not aware of each other. These parts aren't aware of each other. These parts aren't, there's no communication. If one
Hmm.
is really great at one thing, it's almost like being different people, being like really gifted in one area and then kind of like stuttering, fumbling in another area. And it just doesn't make sense because, but we can make sense of it because there's just a wall of unconsciousness. There's a wall that's
Yeah.
blocking the two, and it's for protection. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, as you're talking about it, I can feel it. um, and I still, I still am somehow, when I walk through the door with my parents, I go back to that little kid me and have never fully embraced that adult relationship with them. Um, and it's that safety thing. I just never felt quite safe. And even like, I'm 59 years old and I got my first tattoo. And I remember when I was telling them and showing them, my heart was pounding. Like, there's a part of me that's like, I'm going to get in trouble, still at this age. And, um, and I've recognized that for a long time. I didn't know how to do anything about it. I'm more aware of it. Um, and sometimes I do a better job than others now. But yeah, it's time to just be fully me.
Mhm. And you said that when you go through the door, you go back to that age. What age is it?
I always say 14, and I don't know why, but it always feels like my 14-year-old self, kind of like that time when um s- I think I was holding those two things even. Like I still really needed my parents, but they weren't the parents I needed. And so I
Mhm.
still really needed my parents, but I still also really needed to just grow up and get out of there. And I remember feeling that at the same time. Like I really needed them at that time, but they didn't know how to be what I needed.
Yeah. And that part of that 14-year-old still back there in the house, just kind of waiting for them to figure their stuff out.
Yeah.
But has that 14-year-old you can ever consider that you might be the one that your older self, your future self, is the one that actually figured it out to come back to rescue you?
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like I don't have that expectation of them anymore, and I have so much grace and I've done so much work on this.
The 14-year-old?
Um, but yeah, not maybe the 14-year-old hasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's put both of these two very deep, important aspects of you kind of out in front of you. So is the 14-year-old you on the right side?
Yeah.
Okay. And then in the same room, kind of over on the other side, on your left side, what part of you is the resourceful you, the one that actually, pardon me, evolved and learned a lot of the lessons? What would you name that part of you?
I don't know.
The authentic you, the heart centered you?
Yeah.
Okay. What age is the one on the left?
The age I am now.
And have both parts of these of you, have they ever been in the same room consciously at the same time before?
They've been aware of each other, but not like this. They've more recently become aware of each other, but not like this.
Are they able to turn and face each other and look at each other?
Not fully.
Which one is having a hard time looking at which one?
14.
Not fully, so like what percentage?
I just see her standing like kind of at a diagonal, like at a diagonal, like I won't,
She's looking at you like in peripheral awareness
like, I just won't fully give her my whole front.
because what would happen if you did?
I think that's just where that safety and trust comes in. Like, I've always been guarding this part of me.
So this part of you is protecting itself from the resources that can help it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is this part protecting you from the divine?
I don't think that part knows what the divine is.
And the part of you that's age and your level of resources and consciousness now, send the divine to that part in a way that the divine knows the part would work best. And ask for the divine to introduce itself to this 14-year-old you now. And how does that 14-year-old you receive that?
I'm feeling a bit of a surrender in her. Um like willing to listen. Like now she's like sitting down on the ground, facing facing me.
And can the divine also sit on the ground and put one hand on her and one hand on you?
Yeah. No, we're all three on the ground together.
And if you put your hand out, is she willing to grab a hold of your hand?
Yeah.
And as you sit there now and let the divine reestablish that connection between the divine, you and her, and the divine and back, whatever direction, how does that feel when that, now that that circuit is complete, or that current?
It feels safe to let go of what's been holding there.
And what is she letting, what is she or
Yeah.
you letting go? that you have to do all the protecting of your own, like by your own, on yourself, like by yourself.
No, it feels like it's okay to be like, I was so afraid that it didn't even feel safe to be afraid. I feel like that's what's coming up now is just needing to release all of that. How afraid I was.
And it's okay to be afraid back then now, like just to feel it, like you said, let it out, let it go through your nervous system and do it with the divine and your higher self, which is your current self,
Yeah.
which is kind of really neat because you've experienced more fearful experiences, like fully processed them through your current self.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like connecting a superpower. It's like, well, I have a bigger engine, bigger capacity to really go through this. And then the divine is, you know, the power of everything. So it can go really efficiently.
Mhm.
How does it feel inside right now?
Mhm. Wow. Feels like I could breathe. Feels a lot lighter for sure. No, I don't know how to describe it. It feels like there's room. I don't know how to describe that, but it feels like there's room.
Well, for me, I could describe it as you were stuck, trapped, encapsulated in a time period, but it's almost like in space where there's some sort of contagion coming in and they seal off the pressure, but nothing can come in, but nothing can come out. And every time that part of you came up, it's just almost like this pressurized system of trying to block the fear, which is like the contagion, but it can't come in or come out. And so so it makes
Yeah.
sense when that part gets released and all that pressure is depressurized, then you can like, free to roam the universe wherever you want. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Like I knew, I feel like I'd done so much work on that, but yeah, this part was just not free. Like so, like that's what it feels like now. It feels like there's freedom where there hasn't been freedom before. Wow. Yeah, that part so shut down. No access to any resources, no access to light. Wow, I didn't know how much was there.
Well, on one level, go ahead.
Mm,
Okay, good job. On one level,
mm,
I knew how much was there because I knew how different it was. Like the more different we act from our true self, the bigger you could say hurt or fear is there. But there's also a dissociation from it. It's just not even in, like we're not aware and we can't see. So once you get closer and closer, it's just, yeah, it's a really big deal. And yes, you did work on other parts, other ages, other locations, but never this because that's just part of the divine timing. And sometimes it's like if like a city gets bombed and there's all kinds of rubble and you work on certain things, but then there's just other places and other areas where like, oh, here's more treasure, more people that to be rescued in a way.
yeah. And it doesn't really feel like now feeling that freedom inside. It doesn't really feel like it had necessarily anything to do with my parents.
Share a little bit more about that.
Um, I don't, yeah, it's weird. Like it felt like that was the awareness that was kind of the trigger, so to speak. I don't love that word, but like that they couldn't be the parents I needed for that part of me felt like the inflection point. But they really aren't anywhere in this. I guess that's what I mean. Like maybe they were just the scapegoat. I don't know. For this energy. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's multidimensional. Like you wanted every single child wants our parents to be what we want their parents to be, but it's really what we want as divine parents. And our
Yeah.
parents aren't the divine parents, they're our human parents. And the only way our parents, if our parents consciously connect to the divine mother and divine father within them, like respectively, then we can have access to it. But if they don't, for whatever reason, level of consciousness, not wanting, willing, not ready, whatever the reason is, then we need to do that for ourselves. Like if our parents can't give us everything we need, which they can't, then like if our parents gave us everything we need, we would still be breastfeeding our whole lives. We
Yeah.
wouldn't there'd be no hamburgers or smoothie.
It's it's almost like this part was holding on to that so that it wouldn't have to it could push the blame there and wouldn't ever have to do anything about it, which was also protection.
On
Like, yeah.
on one level. On another level, it's like 14-year-old brain's not fully function, mind's just not that a lot of experience and didn't know the best with
Yeah.
what to
I
do.
I had to
So
figure it out for myself,
mhm.
which is ridiculous for a 14-year-old.
It's not a great strategy, but it's 14-year-olds, but that's why they don't run the world. But what happened is you needed them to be something that they weren't, that they didn't have it in them. But then there was a really hurt trauma that you shut down, but you disconnected yourself from them from the divine, from the rest of humanity, from the universe itself.
Yeah.
And that's where the suffering or pain comes in. And
Yeah. Yeah,
over
and
that.
I think the work that I've done up until now, I think that's where they're not around because it's like I've already forgiven them for that. And it's okay. They did the best that they could.
Part of you did.
But yeah, there was still this part that wanted to blame so that it didn't have to look at itself.
And then if we fully listen to it and allow it to blame, like the questions are like, we can blame your parents for sure, but then let's ask the question, how long?
Yeah.
How, like, and what's their sentence? You blame them for doing something for wrong and you, okay, cool. But what should be their punishment and for how long? Like eternal punishment is really only eternally punishing yourself.
Right.
So then it's just, but it's the, even that though, even listening to a 14-year-old back then, like with the skill set that you and I have now, she wouldn't be able to come up with that. And like I said, be so
Mm-mm.
hurt by her parents, then everything hurts me. So then disconnected from, like I said, the universe, humanity, parents, everything. So basically, parents hurt her. She shut off from the universe. Now we're opening back up to the universe, to the divine, so that your current self, the divine, so many other things can help this part get its needs met. And then the parents aren't a factor. It's like, you hurt me because you couldn't give me what I wanted, but that doesn't mean out of infinite possibility that I can't get it somewhere else. And they give you things that you didn't even know you needed or asked for, which is great, but your parents cannot be everything. There's
Yeah.
not one thing that can be everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just, it's very practical. It's very like logical. It's very makes sense, but nobody had that conversation. Nobody transferred that knowledge, that intelligence to that younger you until today. It's
Yeah.
been just the transference of awareness, just the ability just to listen to somebody without trying to change it and actually, what is it called? Like humor them, not even like a joke, but like, okay, let's blame your parents, but what specifically do they do? What's their crime? What should be their punishment? And even going further, then it just kind of weakens the stance, the accusation or the blame. It's just by
Yeah.
not even trying to change, just like let's write all this outside and see what happens. And okay, well, it's not that bad. And really I'm just hurting. Really, I just want the divine. Really, I just want attention and love. And if I had that, I would let go of all the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I set them free too, which feels really nice.
It's a evolution or a growth in consciousness when you can be younger and then hurt by somebody that's older for not giving you what you wanted and then evolving part of you, the rest of you growing further and evolving to get the tools, resources, healing, support to understand that you can ask the divine to give you, your younger you, what you gave your current you. And then
Mm.
once you have that healing, then you can say, now turn around, now give it to the people who couldn't give it to me. And it's
Yeah, that's what just
very,
happened.
very beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
That's why there's this saying is if you're really truly like forgiven or really truly healed, then you'll have gratitude. And it doesn't matter the situation, circumstance, offense, crime. It doesn't matter what lifetime. If you're really truly healed, like that's how you can measure when you're healing, when you're grateful for the whole situation. And that's an automatic thing. You can't force gratitude. You can't condition gratitude. It's an automatic happening. It's like when a flower blooms.
Mhm.
You can't force it. You can support it and nurture it, nourish it, but you can't make it okay, like look at a rose and bloom, bloom. It happens. And this is the blooming of the internal problem flower, so to speak, which is the gratitude feeling, which is like the scent. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that for sure.
Very good. How
Thank
do you,
you.
you're welcome. How do you feel walking through your parents' door now would be different?
I just feel lighter. I feel more like lighter and the sun, like physically lighter, but I also feel like my inner light is shining. I just, it, it just feels like I'm floating through that door, honestly. That feels pretty cool.
And if you say, "Hey, mom and dad, look, I got something to show you," and then you turn around and show me your left butt cheek, and there's Tweety Bird tattoo, how would they respond, or how would you respond?
I just laugh. Yeah. Ooh, wow. That was big.
That's great. You did a great job.
Thank you, Jeremiah.
You're welcome. Healing is a big deal. It's a team sport. It's a lifelong journey, even though we're not like always healing. But there's parts that are, when we do a certain amount of evolution or growth, these parts come up because it's safe to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out externally now. And I'll let you know.
Because your heart's going to be a lot more open. There's going to be just a lot more flow.
Yeah, I can feel that. And I can feel even being able to show up for my clients in a different way. I have a client this afternoon that's um, a daughter reaching out to help me with her mom, and her mom and my mom are the same age. And I just pictured myself there this afternoon showing up in a very different way, even.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is huge.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy for her. Happy for your parents. Happy for her parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for watching so far. If you would be interested in learning how to do what I did as a coach, check the links below and reach out to me. And if you'd like to be featured on my YouTube channel, you've been trying all kinds of different things, nobody's been able to help you, and you're finally ready to get to the root cause and you'd like to be featured in one of my videos, reach out and we'll set up a meeting and maybe you'll be in my next video. I hope you're having a blessed day and I'll see you in the next time.